The stars burned bright against the darkness of space as another battle fleet exploded into fragments. Admiral Tom Reed of the Alliance watched from his command ship's viewing deck, his weathered face reflecting the distant explosions. He was tired. Everyone was tired. The war had been raging for 300 years, long before he was born, and it showed no signs of ending. "Status report," he called out to his bridge crew, his voice carrying the weight of too many battles. "Sir, we lost 3 more ships," replied First Officer Mike, his blue uniform marked with countless service badges. "The Empire's forces are pushing through Sector 7 again. That's the 3rd time this month." The Alliance of Free Worlds had been fighting the Empire of the Burning Sun for so long that most people couldn't remember why the war started. Some said it was about resources, others claimed it was about freedom. These days, it was simply about survival. The ship's computer beeped softly, displaying a holographic map of the known galaxy. Thousands of red dots marked Empire territories, while blue showed Alliance space. The border between them twisted like an angry snake, crossing through hundreds of star systems. But there was something else on the map. A small gray area, unexplored and peaceful, far from the fighting. "What's the count today?" Tom asked, though he didn't want to hear the answer. "We lost 50,000 soldiers in the last week, sir. The Empire lost about the same." Mike's voice was flat, numb to the numbers after years of similar reports. "The medical ships are overwhelmed again." Tom walked to the window, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. The Alliance's finest ships floated in the space before him. Elegant vessels built by the most advanced civilizations in known space. The Bright Wings, master shipbuilders, had created the fastest engines. The Crystal Mine people had developed the strongest shields. Every member race of the Alliance had contributed their best technology to the war effort. But it wasn't enough. The Empire matched them at every turn. In his private moments, Tom wondered if anyone could win this war. Both sides had access to nearly the same technology, the same strategies, the same resources. It had become a horrible dance of attrition, where victory meant losing slightly fewer ships and soldiers than the enemy. "Sir," called out Jane from the communication station, her antennae twitching with concern. "We're getting reports from the outer sectors. The Empire has developed a new kind of weapon. They're calling it the Star Eater." Tom closed his eyes for a moment. Of course they had. Every few years, one side would develop some new terrible weapon, and the other side would quickly find a way to copy it or defend against it. The cycle never ended. "How many systems have we lost to it?" 3 so far, sir. The weapon, it doesn't just destroy planets. It changes the stars themselves, makes them go cold. The bridge fell silent. Even after 3 centuries of war, they could still find new ways to destroy each other. "Send word to the Council," Tom ordered. "We need to redirect our research teams. Find a way to counter this weapon before we lose more systems." As the crew hurried to carry out his orders, Tom stayed at the window. Somewhere out there, the Empire was probably having similar conversations, making similar plans. Both sides trapped in an endless cycle of action and reaction, attack and defense. What they needed wasn't another weapon or shield. They needed something different, something unexpected. But after 300 years of war, after thousands of races had contributed their knowledge and technology, what could possibly be new? Unknown to Tom, unknown to everyone in the Great Galactic War, the answer was sleeping in an unexplored arm of the galaxy. On a small blue planet called Earth, a species of innovative problem solvers was about to change everything. They weren't the strongest, or the fastest, or the most technologically advanced, but they had something that both the Alliance and the Empire had lost long ago: the ability to think differently. The war was about to change. Earth was about to wake up. The Alliance scout ship Starweaver limped through space, its engines struggling to maintain power. Captain Alex Wilson gripped the controls tightly, trying to squeeze every bit of speed from the damaged ship. Behind them, 3 Empire pursuit vessels were closing in fast. "We can't take another hit," said Bill, the ship's engineer. Smoke still drifted from a burned-out panel near his station. "The shields are at 15%, and we've lost 2 engine cores." Alex knew they needed a miracle. The ship's navigation system was damaged in the last attack, leaving them flying almost blind in an unmapped region of space. The Empire ships would catch them in minutes. "Wait," called out their sensor operator, Lisa. "I'm picking up something strange. There's a solar system ahead. It's not on any of our charts." "Inhabited?" Alex asked, already changing course. "Yes and no. I'm seeing artificial satellites, space stations, but they're primitive. The technology readings are off the charts, but in the wrong direction. They're centuries behind us." Alex made a quick decision. "We're going in. Maybe we can lose the Empire ships in the system's asteroid field." As the Starweaver entered the unknown solar system, the crew got their first look at its inhabitants. Thousands of artificial satellites orbited the third planet, along with a small space station and what appeared to be early attempts at lunar colonization. "This is incredible," Lisa whispered, staring at her readings. "They've achieved spaceflight, but they're still using chemical rockets. They haven't even developed gravity control yet." The Empire ships followed them into the system, their weapons charging. Alex steered the Starweaver toward the asteroid belt between the 4th and 5th planets, hoping the dense field of rocks would give them cover. Then something unexpected happened. A transmission cut through their communication system. The language was unknown, but the meaning was clear. A warning signal from the blue planet's defense systems. They had detected both the Starweaver and the Empire ships. "They can see us?" Bill asked in disbelief. "Through our stealth systems." Before anyone could answer, several objects launched from the planet's surface. The crew watched in amazement as primitive but effective rockets carried what appeared to be defensive satellites into orbit. "They're rockets. They're so simple," Lisa said, analyzing the launches. "Just controlled explosions pushing metal tubes through space. But they work." The Empire ships, caught off guard by the sudden activity, slowed their pursuit. This was a first-contact situation. Even the Empire followed the ancient laws about revealing themselves to developing civilizations. Alex saw their chance. While the Empire ships hesitated, the Starweaver dove into the asteroid field. But they had taken too much damage. An alarm blared as the last engine core failed. "We're going down," Alex announced, fighting with the controls, sending distress signal to Alliance Command. "Everyone, prepare for emergency landing." The Starweaver streaked through the planet's atmosphere, its hull glowing red-hot. Below them, the lights of a sprawling city sparkled in the night. Their sensors picked up a flurry of activity as the planet's defenders tracked their descent. They crashed in an empty field, the ship plowing a deep furrow in the earth. As emergency systems activated and the crew checked for injuries, they heard vehicles approaching. Through the twisted viewport, they saw primitive ground vehicles surrounding them. Humans in uniform approached cautiously, their simple projectile weapons ready but not firing. "Well," Alex said, standing up slowly and raising his hands, "I guess we're making first contact." Lisa checked her instruments one last time. "The Empire ships are holding position at the edge of the system. They're watching." "Good," Alex replied. "Maybe we can keep this peaceful." He looked at the approaching humans with curiosity. "Let's hope they're friendly. The Alliance could use some new allies, even if they're not as advanced as we are." He had no idea that this primitive species was about to change the course of the war forever, not through advanced technology, but through something far more valuable: their unique way of thinking. 3 months after the crash landing of the Starweaver, Admiral Tom Reed stood in a large room at the United Nations building in New York, watching humans work on a damaged Alliance fighter ship. What he saw made him question everything he knew about warfare and technology. "This is impossible," he said to Captain Alex Wilson, who had recovered from the crash. "They're fixing our quantum drive with mechanical tools." Alex nodded, smiling. Watch what they do next. A team of human engineers had stripped down the complex quantum engine to its basic parts. Instead of using automated repair systems or advanced nanobuilders like the Alliance would, they were fixing each component by hand. More surprisingly, they were making improvements. "Your original design is good," said James, the lead human engineer, wiping grease from his hands with a rag. "But it's too complicated. We removed 30 parts that weren't needed and made it stronger." Tom watched in amazement as the humans demonstrated their modified version of the engine. It wasn't as elegant as the original, but it worked better and could be repaired with basic tools. "We've been fighting this war for 300 years, Tom said, and no one ever thought to make things simpler." In another part of the facility, human military historians were studying Alliance battle records. Their reactions weren't what Tom expected. "You mean you always fight in straight lines?" asked Robert, a retired general, "with everyone using the same tactics?" He shook his head. "No wonder you're stuck in a stalemate." The humans shared their own military history. Tom learned about guerrilla warfare, about how smaller forces had defeated larger ones using clever tricks and unexpected strategies. He learned about people like George Washington, who crossed a frozen river on Christmas to surprise his enemies, and desert fighters who used the environment as a weapon. "In space, you have more directions to work with, not less," Robert explained, moving model ships around a 3D display. "But you're all fighting like old Navy battles, straight lines, big formations. It's too predictable." But the biggest surprise came from an unexpected place, a visit to a car factory in Detroit. Tom watched in fascination as humans mass-produced vehicles using assembly lines. "This is what we've been missing," he said to Alex. "The Alliance builds each ship like it's a piece of art. Every component is perfect, every system is advanced. But humans, we build things to work," James finished for him. "And we build them fast. These assembly lines can be adapted to build anything, even spaceships." The humans had already started drawing up plans to modify their factories. They didn't fully understand the advanced technology yet, but they understood manufacturing. Where Alliance engineers saw complex problems requiring perfect solutions, humans saw challenges that could be solved with practical thinking and hard work. "How long?" Tom asked. "How long until you can start producing ships?" "Give us 6 months," James replied. "We won't be able to match your best ships at first, but we can build a lot of simpler ones that work just as well, and we can repair them easily." Tom looked around the room at the humans working. They didn't have gravity control or quantum computers. Their tools were simple, their methods basic, but they had something the Alliance had forgotten over centuries of advanced technology: the ability to solve problems with whatever they had on hand. "There's one more thing," Alex added. "Show him the special project." James led them to a sealed room. Inside, humans were taking apart Empire weapons captured during the Starweaver incident. They weren't just studying them. They were figuring out how to block them using simple materials. "Sometimes," James explained, "the best solution isn't a bigger gun. Sometimes it's just a really clever shield made from ordinary metal and smart positioning." Tom realized then that humanity's gift wasn't advanced technology or superior strength. It was their endless creativity and determination to find solutions where others saw only problems. The war was about to change, not because Earth had better weapons, but because they had better ideas. 6 months after Earth joined the Alliance, Admiral Tom Reed stood in orbit above Mars, watching humanity's first space shipyard come to life. What he saw left him speechless. The humans had transformed their Red Planet colony into a massive production facility. Dozens of half-built ships floated in space, surrounded by construction crews in simple spacesuits. But it wasn't the number of ships that surprised Tom. It was how they were being built. "Welcome to the assembly line of the future," said James, now chief of Earth's space manufacturing. He gestured at the organized chaos around them. "We're building 30 ships at once, using the same methods we use to build cars." Tom watched as robotic arms, adapted from Earth's car factories, moved massive ship parts through space. Human workers guided them, using tools that looked too simple to work on advanced spacecraft. But they did work. "How many ships can you build in a week?" Tom asked, already knowing the answer would surprise him. 50, James replied with a proud smile. "They're not as fancy as your regular Alliance ships, but they're tough, easy to repair, and we can replace them quickly if they're destroyed." A noise caught their attention. Below them, a massive cargo ship was launching from the Martian surface. It wasn't sleek or beautiful like Alliance ships. It looked like a giant metal box with engines attached. "That's our other surprise," James said. "We call it the Space Train. It's ugly, but it can carry 5 times more supplies than your cargo ships, using half the fuel." The humans had taken one look at Alliance supply lines and found them too complex. Instead of using hundreds of small, fast ships to move supplies, they built huge, simple cargo carriers that moved in protected convoys. "But they're so slow," said Mike, Tom's first officer, who had joined them for the inspection. "The Empire will easily catch them." James grinned. "That's why we built these." He pointed to another dock, where smaller ships were being assembled. They looked like Earth's old fighter jets, but adapted for space. Simple, fast patrol ships. While the Empire chases them, our cargo gets through. Tom began to understand. The humans weren't trying to match the Alliance's advanced technology. They were changing how the war was fought. In a nearby station, human engineers were teaching Alliance crews how to repair ships using basic tools and spare parts. The Alliance had always replaced damaged components with new ones. The humans showed them how to fix things instead. "Look at this," said Lisa, who had transferred from the Starweaver to work with the humans. She held up what looked like a simple metal box. The humans found a way to repair quantum communication arrays using parts from old radio sets. "It's not as good as the original, but it works, and we can make thousands of them." The biggest change was in how supplies reached the front lines. Human logistics experts had redesigned the entire Alliance supply system. Gone were the complex scheduling algorithms and just-in-time deliveries. Instead, they built massive supply depots near battle zones, stocked with simple, standardized parts. "Your weight is elegant," James explained to Tom as they watched a convoy of space trains prepare to launch. "Everything is perfectly calculated and precisely timed. But war isn't elegant. Sometimes you just need lots of spare parts and a wrench." Tom looked at a nearby display showing the Alliance's supply network. In 6 months, the humans had doubled its capacity while making it 10 times more reliable. They didn't do it with advanced technology. They did it by thinking differently. "The Empire won't expect this," Tom said, watching another space train launch. "They're looking for new weapons, new shields, new technology. But we're not giving them anything to copy." James nodded. "That's the real surprise. You don't always need better technology to win a war. Sometimes you just need better logistics and a whole lot of spare parts." The Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology. It was its ability to make complex things simple. The first true test of Earth's contribution to the war came at the Battle of Proxima Star. The Empire had launched a massive attack, expecting to face the usual Alliance response. What they found instead changed the course of the war forever. Admiral Tom Reed watched from his command ship as the Empire fleet approached. Behind him, James and a team of human tactical officers studied their screens with intense focus. "They're moving exactly like you said they would," Tom noted, watching the Empire ships form their traditional attack pattern. James nodded. 300 years of warfare, and they're still using the same old playbook. Time to show them something new. Instead of matching the Empire's elegant battle formation with their own, the Alliance fleet broke into small, irregular groups. It looked messy and disorganized. Exactly what the humans had planned. "Launch the decoys," James ordered. Hundreds of small, simple vessels shot out from hidden positions. They were little more than engines and metal frames, built in Earth's factories for almost no cost. but to Empire sensors, they looked like full-sized warships. The Empire fleet's perfect formation broke apart as they tried to track too many targets at once. That's when the real attack began. "Send in the space trains," Tom commanded. The massive cargo ships that the Empire had mocked as slow and primitive suddenly powered up their engines. The humans had kept their real speed capability secret for months. Now, these huge vessels charged straight through the Empire's scattered formation. "But they're cargo ships," Mike exclaimed. "They're not armed." James grinned. "Actually, they are, just not in the way anyone expected." The space trains opened their cargo doors. Instead of supplies, they released thousands of simple but effective space mines. The humans had taken basic materials and turned them into weapons that even advanced Empire shields couldn't stop, because they were too simple to detect. "Now for the best part," James said. "Show them what those repair stations can really do." The Alliance repair stations that had been quietly built throughout the sector came to life. But they weren't just repair stations. The humans had designed them to double as fire bases, hiding powerful but simple weapons behind their maintenance equipment. The Empire fleet found itself caught in a trap. Their sophisticated sensors, designed to detect advanced energy weapons, had completely missed the basic projectile launchers and magnetic accelerators the humans had installed. "Their shields are calibrated for energy weapons," Lisa reported from her station. "They're not ready for good old-fashioned metal slugs moving at high speed." The battle turned into chaos, the kind of chaos humans excelled at. While Empire commanders tried to adjust their strategic algorithms, Alliance ships darted in and out of the fight using tactics borrowed from Earth's ancient naval battles. "Look at their formation now," James pointed out. The elegant Empire battle line had completely fallen apart. They don't know how to handle ships that don't follow their rules of combat. But the real victory wasn't in the fighting. As the battle raged, dozens of space trains slipped through the chaos, delivering crucial supplies to contested systems that had been cut off for years. The Empire had focused all their efforts on stopping advanced Alliance supply ships, never expecting cargo vessels that looked like they belonged in a scrapyard. "We're not just winning the battle," Tom realized. "We're breaking their entire strategy." The Empire fleet finally retreated, leaving behind damaged ships that they couldn't repair quickly. Meanwhile, Alliance vessels, damaged but designed for easy fixes, were already being patched up with spare parts from the space trains. "This is just the beginning," James said, watching the repair crews work. "They thought we were primitive because we use simple solutions. They're about to learn that simple doesn't mean weak." As news of the victory spread, more Alliance commanders began adopting Earth's strategies. The war was changing one battle at a time, not through superior technology, but through humanity's gift for making the complex simple and finding strength in being unpredictable. 1 year after the Battle of Proxima Star, the Empire's high command gathered for an emergency meeting. Their perfect war machine was falling apart, and they couldn't understand why. "How are they doing this?" demanded High Commander Jack of the Empire, slamming his fist on the holographic table. The display showed another failed attack, where simple Alliance tactics had destroyed their advanced fleet. "These humans fight like barbarians." His tactical officer displayed images from recent battles. Empire ships, beautiful and advanced, being defeated by Alliance vessels that looked like they were built from scrap metal. But appearances were deceiving. "The humans don't fight fair," the officer explained. "When we attack with energy weapons, they respond with chunks of metal. When we use complex battle formations, they scatter like insects. When we knock out their communications, they use simple radio signals we thought were too primitive to matter." In space, another battle was unfolding. The Empire had sent their newest weapon, the Star Eater, to destroy a key Alliance system. They watched in disbelief as their unstoppable weapon was stopped by the simplest of human tricks. "They filled space with junk," reported a furious Empire captain. "Just metal debris and old satellites. Our weapon can't get a clear shot at the star because of all the floating trash." The humans had taken one look at the Star Eater and figured out its weakness. It needed a clear path to its target. So they created a shield made of space junk, guided by simple thrusters. The mighty Empire weapon was defeated by garbage. Back at the Empire Command Center, reports kept coming in of more defeats. Each one showed the same pattern: the humans using simple solutions to counter advanced technology. "Sir," called an Empire engineer, "we've discovered how they're building ships so quickly." He showed images of the Mars shipyards. They're using assembly lines like they're making simple ground vehicles. But it works. The Empire had always built their ships as masterpieces, each one perfect and unique. They couldn't match the speed of human mass production. For every Empire ship they built, the humans and their alliance allies could build 10 simpler but effective vessels. "What about our supply lines?" Jack asked, dreading the answer. "The humans have completely changed how the Alliance moves supplies," his logistics officer reported. "We've been attacking their high-tech supply ships, but they're using these space trucks instead. Big, ugly things that our sensors ignore because they look too primitive to matter." The Empire's carefully planned strategies were falling apart. They had based everything on fighting an enemy who thought like them, who valued elegance and advanced technology. The humans thought differently. "Look at this," the tactical officer said, showing footage of a recent battle. "When we disabled their main weapons, they turned their repair tools into weapons. When we jammed their targeting systems, they aimed manually. Every time we think we have them beaten, they just adapt." Jack studied the battle footage, watching Alliance ships using tactics that no proper military force would consider. They hid behind asteroids, used mining tools as weapons, and fought in ways that no computer could predict. "Sir," a junior officer reported, "we've intercepted their communications. They're calling this Operation Mosquito." "What's a mosquito?" Jack asked. "It's an Earth insect, sir. Small, primitive, impossible to predict, and capable of defeating much larger opponents through persistence and numbers." The Empire commanders watched helplessly as their perfect strategies crumbled. They had spent centuries perfecting the art of space warfare, only to be defeated by humans who didn't care about perfection, who valued effectiveness over elegance. "These humans," Jack said quietly, watching another Empire fleet retreat from a swarm of simple Alliance ships, "they're teaching the Alliance to think like them, to adapt, to improvise." He shook his head. "How do you defeat an enemy who turns their weaknesses into strengths?" The answer, as the Empire was learning, was that you couldn't. The hammer was falling, and it was made of Earth steel. The end of the 300-year war didn't come with a massive space battle or a superweapons blast. Instead, it ended with a broken supply chain and a simple message sent on an old-fashioned radio frequency. Admiral Tom Reed stood on the bridge of his command ship, surrounded by both Alliance and human officers, as they received the Empire's surrender message. The mighty Empire, with all its advanced technology, had been defeated by Earth's practical solutions. "Read it again," Tom said to Lisa, who now served as his communications chief. "I want to make sure everyone understands how we won." Lisa nodded and read from her screen. "Due to catastrophic failures in our supply network, manufacturing capabilities, and battle strategies, the Empire of the Burning Sun formally surrenders to the Alliance of Free Worlds and their Earth allies." James, who had become the Alliance's chief of innovation, smiled. "They still don't fully understand what happened, do they? The Empire's mighty war machine hadn't been destroyed. It had been made irrelevant. Human engineers had shown the Alliance how to build simple, effective counters to every Empire weapon. Human logistics experts had redesigned supply lines to be impossible to cut off. Human tactical advisors had taught Alliance commanders to think creatively instead of following ancient battle doctrines." "Show us the final numbers," Tom requested. Mike, still serving as first officer, displayed the statistics. In just 2 years since Earth joined the war, the Alliance had built more ships than in the previous 50 years combined, reduced repair times from weeks to hours, cut supply line losses by 90%, developed countermeasures to every empire's superweapon, and done it all using technology that was centuries behind what both sides had been using. The best part, James added, is that the Empire's spies kept stealing our designs. He laughed. But they couldn't make them work because they kept trying to improve them, make them more advanced. They never understood that the simplicity was what made them effective. On the main screen, they watched as Empire ships across the galaxy stood down. The crews of these advanced vessels had been defeated by Alliance ships that looked like they were held together with spare parts, because they were. "There's a lesson here," Tom said, looking at his mixed crew of Alliance and human officers. "We thought we needed better technology to win. What we really needed was better thinking." The humans had brought something that 300 years of war had stripped from both sides, the ability to find simple solutions to complex problems. While the Empire and Alliance had focused on building better weapons, Earth had shown them how to fight smarter. "What happens now?" asked Mike, watching as space trains began delivering relief supplies to worlds that had been cut off for generations. "Now comes the interesting part," James replied. "We're going to help rebuild the galaxy, but not with advanced technology." He pulled up designs on his tablet, simple, practical plans for rebuilding damaged worlds. "We'll do it the Earth way. Simple, reliable, and built to last." Tom looked at the plans. The humans were already adapting their construction methods to help rebuild worlds destroyed by the war. They would use assembly lines to mass-produce homes, factories, and infrastructure. They would teach people to repair things instead of replacing them. They would show both sides how to build a lasting peace with practical solutions. "Earth showed up late to the war," Tom said, "but right on time to save us from ourselves." As the galaxy entered its first period of peace in 3 centuries, the biggest surprise wasn't that humanity had helped win the war. The real surprise was how they had done it, not with advanced technology or superior firepower, but with creativity, practicality, and the simple idea that the best solution isn't always the most complicated one. The war was over, and across the galaxy, people were learning to think differently, to think like humans, to see problems not as obstacles requiring perfect solutions, but as challenges that could be overcome with ingenuity, determination, and sometimes just a really good wrench.